The wind howled through the desolate streets, carrying with it an eerie sense of foreboding. Dark clouds loomed overhead, pregnant with the promise of an impending storm. The town had been abuzz with rumors all day, whispers of an approaching tempest that seemed to grow in intensity as nightfall drew near. And now, as the first raindrops began to fall, it was clear that the sky was delivering on its ominous promise. Amelia stood alone in the graveyard, her silhouette cast against the backdrop of lightning-split clouds. She had come here often, seeking solace in the company of the departed. The tombstones stood like silent sentinels, weathered by time and grief. But in the darkness, Amelia could be herself, free to confront her deepest emotions without judgment. The night became her sanctuary, a cavernous void where she could explore the depths of her own soul. Tonight was different, though. It was the anniversary of her sister's untimely death, a wound that still bled fresh in her heart. The storm seemed fitting, a reflection of her inner turmoil. As the lightning split the sky, illuminating the graveyard in a blinding flash, Amelia felt a surge of energy within her. The gravestones pulsed like strobe lights in a nightclub, their tops gleaming with an otherworldly radiance. Kneeling before her sister's grave, Amelia reached out to touch the cold stone. It was a futile gesture, a desperate attempt to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. In that moment, she couldn't help but wonder if her sister's spirit dwelled in some ethereal plane, witnessing this artificial display of affection. Their relationship had always been complex, a tumultuous dance of love and resentment. Amelia and Isabella were identical twins, their physical resemblance undeniable. But beneath the surface, they were polar opposites, like two sides of a coin. Isabella had been the embodiment of goodness, while Amelia was drawn to darkness. Their differences had strained their bond, severing the connection that had once existed in the womb. Their mother, Evelyn, had always sensed something was amiss with Amelia. From the moment they were born, Amelia had been difficult. She cried incessantly, refusing to be comforted. As a baby, she had drained Evelyn's energy, leaving her feeling utterly depleted. Amelia's challenging nature had tested her mother's resolve, making her understand the depths of despair. As they grew older, Amelia's mean streak only intensified. She reveled in tormenting her sister, relishing in the power it bestowed upon her. Isabella, on the other hand, radiated kindness and compliance. Evelyn couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of relief that at least one of her daughters possessed such inherent goodness. She loved them both, but she struggled to reconcile her feelings of dislike for Amelia. She yearned for respite, even a brief reprieve from the chaos her daughter unleashed. Isabella bore the brunt of Amelia's wrath, enduring physical and emotional attacks with unwavering resilience. She learned to navigate life with her guard up, constantly wary of her sister's next move. The burden of being the good child weighed heavily on her shoulders, for it meant constantly suppressing her own frustrations and anger. Isabella longed for the freedom to express herself, to unleash the pent-up rage that simmered beneath her composed exterior. But she knew her mother couldn't bear the weight of two demon children. And so, she remained the quiet one, the one who silently suffered. As they grew older, Amelia's attacks took on a more insidious nature. No longer satisfied with physical assaults, she resorted to acts of manipulation and deceit. She tore up Isabella's accomplishments, destroyed her friendships, and spread rumors that tainted her sister's reputation. Isabella's self-esteem plummeted, leaving her a shell of the person she once was. And then came that fateful night, the night that would forever alter the course of their lives. Amelia's actions reached their zenith, culminating in a vicious assault that left Isabella broken and bleeding. The weight of her guilt was overwhelming, and Amelia realized the extent of her cruelty too late. In the aftermath, Isabella retreated within herself, her spirit fractured beyond repair. Evelyn, torn between her love for both daughters, tried desperately to mend the shattered pieces of their family. But the damage ran deep, and forgiveness seemed an impossible dream. As Amelia stood before her sister's grave, tears mingled with the raindrops streaming down her face. She cried not only for Isabella's death but also for the life they had lost together. She mourned the loss of innocence, the destruction of a bond that should have been unbreakable. Suddenly, a blinding bolt of lightning struck the ground, illuminating the graveyard in a bluish-white glow. Amelia's heart skipped a beat as she witnessed something inexplicable. A hand, translucent and ethereal, emerged from the earth, reaching out to her. It was Isabella's hand, unmistakably so. Overwhelmed with a mix of terror and longing, Amelia hesitated for a moment before reaching out to grasp her sister's hand. The moment their hands touched, a surge of energy coursed through her veins, connecting them in a way that transcended life and death. In that instant, Amelia felt Isabella's presence, her essence enveloping her with a warmth and forgiveness she had never known. Through the ethereal connection, Amelia witnessed Isabella's perspective. She saw the pain and suffering her sister had endured, the relentless torment that had driven her to the brink. Isabella had always been the stronger one, bearing the weight of their broken relationship with grace and compassion. As the vision faded, Amelia fell to her knees, gasping for breath. The storm raged on, but she no longer felt its wrath. Instead, she felt a glimmer of hope, a chance at redemption. Isabella's forgiveness had opened a door that Amelia never thought possible. It was a chance to rebuild, to find a way to honor her sister's memory and create a life worth living. In the days that followed, Amelia sought solace in therapy. She delved into her past, exploring the roots of her darkness and the choices that had led her down this path. With the guidance of her therapist, she began to unravel the layers of her own psyche, peeling back the veneer of cruelty to expose the vulnerable girl beneath. She reached out to her mother, Evelyn, seeking reconciliation. They wept together, their tears mingling with years of pain and regret. It was a bittersweet reunion, a fragile bridge between past and present. They vowed to support one another, to heal the wounds that had festered for far too long. Amelia also embarked on a journey of self-discovery, exploring her own capacity for love and kindness. She volunteered at shelters, extending a helping hand to those in need. She confronted her own demons, learning to embrace her darkness without succumbing to it. The storm had been a catalyst, a tumultuous force that shattered their lives but also cleared the path for healing. The rain washed away the past, leaving behind fertile ground for new beginnings. And as Amelia stood in the graveyard, the storm subsiding, she felt a sense of peace she had never known before. In the years that followed, Amelia devoted her life to helping others. She became an advocate for victims of abuse, using her own experiences to bring awareness to the plight of those who suffered in silence. She worked tirelessly to break the cycle of violence and cruelty, to ensure that no one would endure the pain she had inflicted upon her sister. Isabella's memory became a guiding light, a constant reminder of the transformative power of love and forgiveness. Through her work, Amelia found purpose, a way to make amends for the past and honor the sister she had lost. And in the quiet moments, when the wind whispered through the trees and the rain tapped gently against the window pane, Amelia could almost hear Isabella's voice, a soft whisper in the night, urging her forward. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of storms, there is always a glimmer of hope, a chance for redemption and renewal.